That's worth more than peace and love on the planet Earth. Well, come on and sing it with me. The words relate to like
Good afternoon.
if it's a pattern, then repeat and repeat.
It's Monday.
And then love and birth and life and then love and birth. And you sing me, fa me, ti, la, and these and more on the planet Earth.
So, oh my god, I am rambling, sidetracked, and now I won't be. We'll see. Kill the music. Come on.
I guess we already.
Check it out. So, hold on. What is up, everybody? I'm like hunched over, leaning into my microphone because of where I put it. This is a very last minute. As all Monday streams are destined to be last minute, scrambling, and off the cuff. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Monday Corner stream. I hope you're doing all right. Hope you're staying safe and sane. People in your life that you care about are doing okay, and that everyone is ready to have a time. Good, bad, or in between. Things are going okay over here. I spent the weekend. My girlfriend helped me clean and organize things in my room because earlier this year I had to move to a room that was smaller than the room that I was in, and I have a lot of gear, and it was just kind of piling everywhere. So threw out a bunch of shit, and I've been getting a bunch of new shit, and just finding places for those to exist in my space, even though I don't plan on living here. Well, I was hoping to be out of here by now, but basically immediately after I moved in here, we were put in lockdown, so fun. Anyway, today we are gonna be, well, I'm gonna be just playing through some exercises on the trumpet. Trying to feel good because I was busy the weekend. I didn't get to play for a couple days, and I've been working on different things. Different streams I've talked about it. Some of the different things I've been working on for my playing, and just continuing that, trying to get to a place that feels decent. It's been a while, but I'll talk a little bit about what the routine that I've been doing. I won't do the whole thing because I've already done some of it today, but I'll get into that. Is it on the right screen? Hold on. It is. So I'm going to sit down, actually. So what I've been doing is sort of going back to things that I used to do. So trumpet, there are a lot of different methods and pedagogical approaches and techniques, I guess, and ways to think about it. And I've done, I've gone through like the handful of things that people are generally the schools of approach, I guess. A couple of things that I used to do when I was younger, I've gotten away from, namely buzzing purely on the mouthpiece. So I don't have a video right now, but there's the instrument itself, which even if you don't know too much about the instrument, you can visualize a trumpet. And I think they actually blow into the mouthpiece. So separating the mouthpiece from the horn and creating sound with just the mouthpiece and my lips. Right. Doing some drills with that, and then also going through and again, can't see this because I didn't want to bother. I've been having technical issues with my laptop. Maybe someone's using my laptop to mine Bitcoin or something like that. I'll have to check it out. But it's been having a hard time with the streams, so I'm not using that today. But if you can visualize the trumpet, which we can just do that right now. Trumpet. No, not trumpet herald, just trumpet. Let's look at a trumpet. Perfect. So I just want the full ass image of okay, here's a trumpet. So this end is the let me just check my audio real quick. Check. So you have the receiver on this end. You put the mouthpiece in there, and then you blow, and your air goes through here, the lead pipe, which is the initial contact point of air and vibration coming from your lips to the mouthpiece into the trumpet. Goes through the trumpet, the lead pipe, into this thing right here, this first little crook. On most trumpets anyway, there's all kinds of different designs, but it runs into this piece, which is a separate pipe, which is inserted. It goes into the lead pipe, and also this this bottom pipe. This is the tuning slide, main tuning slide, and just basically, if you pull it out, it lowers the fundamental pitch. So you could think of it making it flatter or making it longer. You push it in, it's shorter, raises the fundamental pitch, sharper. So, I just buzz on my lips. Buzz on the mouthpiece. Right? And I put the mouthpiece into the horn and I could play it normally. What I can also do is take out the tuning slide and play it like that. So imagine the trumpet without this thing. So you've actually effectively you're only playing the mouthpiece and the lead pipe because you've removed the connection to the rest of the trumpet once you take out the tuning slide. Sounds like. Now, I haven't done these things in a while, just because I guess I kind of bounce. I have certain fundamental philosophies that I don't tend to budge on, like the most simple is to have a sort of finesse and elegance to the general approach, because you can play pretty aggressively without trying to muscle it. So having a certain amount of finesse, or at least striving towards a certain amount of finesse, because we don't always have it. Sometimes we'll have to muscle things, or we feel we have to muscle things in order to make them work. And number two is the way of moving in between notes and having a certain amount of connection. again, that's like a striving. It doesn't mean that I always achieve. It's just certain things that I continuously strive for. These different little practice techniques and exercises, they have their pros and cons. Some people think, you absolutely must do these things. Some people think you should never do these things. And I guess all I can say is it sort of depends. There are pros and cons to any approach, especially when you're doing things that are not necessarily fundamental to, well, not fundamental, but like if you are just playing on the mouthpiece or if you're just playing on the lead pipe, that's not playing the trumpet. You can apply things from the former to the latter and vice versa, but it's not the same thing. And you will rarely do those things in a normal performance on that instrument. So I kind of got away from doing those things. But with the sort of embouchure work that I've been doing the past month or so, and running into some walls with that, I thought, why don't I try and go back to something, let me try something else in my toolkit. So I went back to some of these things, having a bit of success. But the difficulty with me that I find generally, the issues that I usually have is that I spend too much time, too much effort trying to adjust things, make adjustments, that sometimes I can mess up my baseline. So I ran into that issue a couple months ago, and I am sort of dealing with that, trying to find a new center. And it's difficult because I was trying different things out, for the past couple weeks that I felt were working, and then I had to take a couple days. It's one of those things where like you're trying something new, and everything you do is in relation to that sensation of adjusting and like moving in a direction. And so if you stop that even for a couple days, it's hard to remember where you were because you weren't really somewhere with a strong foundation because you were in a transition. So if you stop in the middle of a transition, it's harder to continue where you were in that transition, and then you're kind of fumbling around in the dark again. So I'm sort of like, the more that happens though, like if it's just like a couple days in the middle of trying sort of the same stuff, it won't be as bad, if it happens like a second or third time, as long as it's like a couple days. If it's like a month, that could be rough to try and come back from. But anyway, trying these different things out, getting some promising results. It feels a little strange today. I was thinking about a couple different things today. Also, it's been a couple days. But that's basically what I've been doing. That's what I did earlier today, as well as some long tones, which don't necessarily need a lot of explanation. I could talk about the embouchure stuff that I was thinking of today, but it's harder to explain it without any visuals, so I won't. Instead, I'll just jump into it, do some of the other things that I've been doing. I have here these stamp exercises, and I'll kind of, this isn't what's on the page. What's on the screen isn't exactly what I'm going to be playing, but it's close enough. Oh wait, this isn't the right one. Yeah, it's this one. So I'm going to do a sort of variation on this, and I'll play a little bit and explain a bit about it, but let me get to it. Just trying to find it right now, really. Here's what's going to continue to get different than what's on the page. One second. I'm going to be playing. I just want to see my levels, what they look like while I'm playing. I'm actually wondering how it sounds, if it sounds weird or not, because I have a lot of compression going for when I talk, and I'm not turning it off when I go to play. So I don't know. Probably sounds. I don't know if it sounds overly compressed when I'm playing. Who knows? I'll check it out when the stream is over. Anybody in the chat? Try to mouse over to which one I'm doing. Whoops. That's a lie. I'm actually gonna start on the E flat. I just realized I didn't explain the pattern. So, so take an example for this E flat or A flat. One starting on A flat in the key of A flat. Oh, actually. I should be able to sing. No, that's a little low for me. Whereas instead of doing that, when it descends and then comes back up, the little walk up to the third, arpeggio down to a lower octave. And I don't know. I just started doing this. It felt like I was being melodic while also doing, some slightly larger intervals. In order to have encourage feeling of connection and sort of encourage a little bit of flexibility. And it feels all right when I've been doing it for the past couple weeks, so I'm continuing to do it. I'll probably, once it feels more solid, I want to throw in more. I haven't done a ton of like slurs and at that kind of flexibility stuff, but I want to do more of that. So maybe we'll see how I feel after I get through the normal amount that I do. I'm gonna do that again. A little more successful. Still, I'll talk about it at the end. Okay. 2 more of these, and then I'll get to where I usually end. Yeah, I keep bringing this issue of bottoming out. Hold on. Okay. One more, and then I'll talk about it. What I am feeling, what I don't like, and maybe what I do like. I don't know. Essentially, I'm going to be doing this one an F up an octave. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So first, I'll just kind of explain a little bit more about what the exercise actually is. Essentially, I'm taking this stamp exercise. Except changing the pattern a little bit. I don't know if that was the actual key that is written, but whatever. Instead of just doing it descending like this, I'm doing a sort of spider pattern. C to B to C sharp to B flat to D to A to E flat, so on and so forth. Expanding the range outwards in both directions. Trying to feel a sense of consistency between as I go through different registers, and a sense of consistency and connection, a sense of ease, a sense of the ability to be flexible as I move through the registers and not feel too stiff, not feel like I'm muscling it too much. Using the air in a good way. That's the goal, but partially of wrestling with some of these embouchure issues is sort of figuring out how to make those things happen, how to get the right sensation, and the right result. I found myself sort of bottoming out, I guess, on those lower notes What I guess I've been trying to do with the embouchure change is to get the mouthpiece to be more around my lips rather than on my lips. For reasons of like endurance and efficiency, just like from what I understand of the muscular structure and how things work, your actual lips are not very formidable, but the muscles around them are. So having the mouthpiece rest more, at least on the top and the bottom, which is where like the main points of contact are, top and bottom lips. Having the mouthpiece rest more outside the lips is what I understand to be more ideal. Now it's more difficult for me because I have larger lips. What I often end up doing is the mouthpiece will rest on both top and bottom lip, and my lower lip having really nowhere to go inside the mouthpiece because the trumpet mouthpiece is small. There's not a lot of space in there. I'd say, the size of like maybe a penny or something. A little larger than that. So my lower lip actually tends to roll over my teeth. And so when I get a smaller or larger aperture or larger opening in between my teeth for the air to flow through, as it gets smaller, I end up eventually just closing off because I'm just really just biting my lip. So the adjustment I've been made is trying to get more of the lip in the mouthpiece, so that maybe that means a sort of tucking into the lip, getting my lower jaw forwards, my bottom teeth line up with my top teeth. And so the issue I'm running into is like choking, like lips not being able to stay in the mouthpiece and still be flexible. They just kind of like flop out, or constricting vibration, or what's kind of happening now is like the lips are going in the mouthpiece, but then there's too much meat in there, so I can't vibrate. So those lower notes seem a lot less focused. I think partially because I'm trying to keep the lips, maybe force them in a certain position that I don't normally play in, so it's a little rough. I don't know. I'm just figuring it out. It was a little more successful last week, but I think I'm thinking of it a little bit differently, the way I set up. It remains to be seen how effective this way of setting up is, the way I'm setting the mouthpiece on my face. But it seems easy to be consistent with it, so I'm going to try it for now. And if not, then I think I can understand what I was doing before, because there's fewer steps to what I was doing before. So I'll have two options to choose from as I see fit. So once I've done that, at this point I'll probably have, if I've done all those exercises and I've taken, a suitable amount of rest in between, honestly, that could easily take half an hour to an hour to do all those things along with rest. In all likelihood, I'll have more time than that, or it won't take, that full length of time. So I could throw in a couple more exercises. So as I talk here and give my chops a break a little bit, what I will do next, and I'm gonna pull these exercises up for reference. Most of these things that I do have just sort of been handed down knowledge to me, and that I just kind of make my own things up based off of these things. But I'll show like these method books and the notation just to make it a little more apparent what it is I'm doing. So let's see. So we have here the Clark second study, the little scalar thing. And the way I have been doing them, I was doing this even at the start of quarantine, not doing it the way in the book, but in order to promote continuous airflow, like I mentioned, where start the phrase here all the way to the end of the phrase, no matter what the articulation is. So I would play it like this, where you have, I play the whole thing slurred, and then say on a repeat, I'll do it all articulated. And I'll start, instead of starting down here, I'll start on this F sharp, I'll go down and up, down and up, down and up, like that, in that same spider pattern. And I'm continuing to do that just because, I don't even really think of it. It's kind of an articulation exercise, but not really. It's more of an airflow exercise to me. I feel like I get it feels like I'm getting good connection and compression after I do this exercise. So that's kind of how I treat it. So I'll go through that. I do F sharp down to C, and then up to C, basically, and then I call it there. So why don't we just go for it? Yeah, I can do this in time. Let's do it slower. Though I do like doing the fermatas. I'll do it on a rough time. Or I can do, here's what I'll do. You'll catch on. So let's try 80. Yeah, that seems alright. So down to F. Yeah, hold on. I'll take off 4 clicks. I'm going to try starting the articulated one a little differently. That was weird. I think what I want is actually, here's what I'll do. I'll do the same key G. Here's what I'll do. my finger got confused looking at the music and trying to play those accents. Anyway. Down to E. It's funny. I think the reason it feels odd to me to actually look at the music and try to play it the exact way it's written is because I want to accentuate the fourth note, not the downbeats. So instead of I want to and like lean into that leading note. I'm gonna be juggling too many things at once here. I'm just gonna play it how it feels right in terms of melodically, but I'll also the music up for reference, visual reference. So A flat. What am I doing? I think knowing you're being on a stream just messed with your mind. Anyway, I'm just gonna carry on. E flat. A. I want to autopilot for a second. A D. Damn it. usually forget, like how. Whoops. It can you can easily underestimate how changing one thing affects everything else. Because if I change what my lips are doing, the way I form my embouchure, um, that's gonna change the way they vibrate, the way air passes through. Maybe it changes the feel of compression that I need, like inside my mouth, because it feels like there is a little bit more resistance up front, and now that's what I'm trying to get through. So it feels sturdy but not stiff. But playing some of these again, I find going below the staff, I find it a little more awkward as I'm trying to make these adjustments. So I attempting to sort of play through it and allow my body to figure it out while trying to stay cognizant of a few things. So I'm not like, it's like I don't want to be trying to walk down the street and think of every single step that I'm taking. You know what I mean? I just want to think of a few key things and sort of let my body figure the rest out, based on my experience. So there might be some awkward things that happen because of that. For now, we're going to continue on to B flat. Also, articulating feels different if the resistance feels different. There's that too. Good old D flat. One of those things where you throw in one extra or even a couple extra variables and like you're thinking about your embouchure and your air and your articulation, and so that your fingers get confused. But I'll do that same one again, just for that reason. Still rough, but a little bit cleaner at least. Up to be. Down to C. Into the octaves. So, let's see. So there's that exercise. To be honest, that did not feel good. Again, it could be one of those things, first day back after a couple days. Could be the adjustment I'm trying to make. I mean, it's probably a lot of different things. But that didn't feel or sound particularly good. That doesn't necessarily mean that was a waste of time or it's a bad exercise. But generally, if there's an issue, I want to be able to pinpoint what the adjustment is or what's the issue, what's it coming from. If I can't figure it out, then that is sort of a problem. And that is kind of where I'm at. Figuring out exactly what it is, because I'm trying to construct something different. You know, I am building a new foundation using tools that I already had, but you know, maybe some material that I'm not used to working with, I guess, for analogy's sake. And so it can be difficult, and it's important not to take those difficulties for granted in the middle of the process. But with that, because I didn't feel great, what I feel like I want to do is do a couple more things. Something more dedicated to flexibility and something more dedicated to lining up the tongue and the fingers with articulation. And so, how long have we been going? Oh, I didn't even realize it's been that long. Jesus Christ. Yeah, these these exercises take a long ass time. So there's that. So what I might do next, because I feel stiff. I might just do something simple, like real quick. Doing those bends. Is like a quick way to sort of feel, to kind of check where your relaxation is. Still a little stiff, but not like I'm not walking around like lurch. So what I will do is let's try this. Hold on, I'm gonna get it. Never mind. I'm just doing a random flexibility exercise now. Interesting. You probably can hear it through the stream. Let's talk about finesse. And in that, you can feel and hear a decided lack of finesse. Now, I probably won't play for too much longer, because I don't want to stress my chops out too much. I may have already crossed that line, especially with trying to make trying a different setup, and I can feel it sort of unravel in certain areas. So the adjustment that I was making is still running into some of the same issues. The reason I do exercises like the stamp one is because if I jump into things that are a little more technical, like the Clark that I was doing that's still on the screen, or the slow exercise that I just did, what I will do is sort of slip into default things because, they work, essentially. They may not work the way I want them to work, but they work to get the result, if the result is just to play those notes in that certain way, or close enough. So I have to sort of find the bridges between these slightly more technical exercises, even though I've done them a lot, with the more simple ones, because making these adjustments, there needs to be, it's difficult to find the balance between slow and steady and just complete stagnation. Because I can get stuck just playing the same 2 or 3 exercises because they seem to feel all right, and really not be able to do much else. So finding the balance between, seeing what helps develop what I'm after, but also needing to be able to push it and move it and progress it to the point where it's like applicable across the range of demand for the instrument. So basically, making changes is difficult. But in this situation, it's necessary because I have no like foundation to stand on. Like, that got rocked a couple months ago. I had a pretty good regimen going at the beginning of lockdowns, and then my momentum got totally stopped. And then I kind of, not square one, but it felt like a sort of square one, and I had to go from somewhere where I couldn't do a whole lot. And so I'm just trying to find the right thread to keep pulling on. And that is sort of my process. And these are some of the things that I've been gravitating towards with varying degrees of success. So I think in terms of playing, I think that's all I got. I don't know what else I could really talk about, because I've sort of explained everything. So I'll try to get one where I have video when I'm playing, so that it's easier to illustrate what I'm talking about. But I don't know, sometimes I feel like it's better to talk about process when you can sort of talk with someone else who is also, you can process things on your own, but getting some bonus processing power is always nice. Even just talking about it out loud, it can be beneficial. But at this point, I've been working on these things for long enough where, like, I've sort of figured out what it is that I'm doing and what it is that I'm actually thinking about, what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. It's just finding, the missing pieces, really. And it's so specific. It's specific to my physicality, like the size of my lips, lip muscles, my dentistry. It's so specific to, like, my body that it's really just figuring that part out. Because I've done a lot of work in the past, but things change. Your body changes. and the way you think about things changes, and what you're trying to accomplish changes. And so I find myself having to make these adjustments every now and again. Although I've been trying, and I've been a little more successful the past year at not, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Although certain situations can really, throw you off in a way that you can't really control. So that is, I guess, where I'm at with that. Some promising things, some difficult things. But anyway, thanks for watching. So we'll catch you guys on Thursday. So I'm gonna explain it more on Thursday once I get a better idea of how I want to do the streams. I mentioned it last Thursday that I might want to do things a little differently. And I have an idea for that. So once I get a more solid plan, I'll probably announce that. But I think these are going to be a little different. There's going to be a certain amount of structure to the stream schedules and like the programming, I guess. So keep an eye out for that. But other than that, as usual, hope that was an interesting enough stream. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay sane, take care of people in your life, take care of yourself. And I'll catch y'all next time.